how's it going? My name is Lauren May and welcome to this video. Today we are going to be doing some tie-dyeing, which is something I've done on this channel before a long time ago. I love it. It's actually one of my most popular videos is tie-dyeing, so you can hang around and see how I go. Remember, my DIY videos are DIY with me. Don't necessarily do exactly what I do because most of the time I fail. This isn't a tutorial, it's just watching me do it because that's fun and you can learn from my mistakes and what I get right. So today we are tie-dyeing a jumper that has a stain on it that I can't get rid of. So I decided to dye over it because that's the obvious choice. I don't like the idea of just throwing it out because it's got a stain on it because we love sustainability and we love ethical fashion and recycling, reusing, all those things. So that's what I'm trying to do today. Also, I am trying out a new technique that I've never done before in tie-dyeing, the ice technique. It's as simple as it sounds. You put ice on your garment and then you put the dye on and then it kind of just melts and makes a pattern. We're going to try it out, see if it works. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You can hang around to find out. And if you do, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you enjoyed this video. If you're not already, you can subscribe. The button is down below. You can hang out with this little channel, watch all the videos. I've got fashion, DIY, reviews, all the things. Something to keep you entertained or make you smile in some way, even if it's at my expense. That's totally okay. I've got some really cringy videos and I'm okay with that. So let's get straight into this tie-dye video. Bought this tie-dye kit from Kmart, but you can use whichever one that you have access to. This is the jumper that I wish to tie-dye. There is a giant stain on the front, and the way that I'm doing this is kind of scrunching it all up in little bits and pieces. The way that I want this to look is that the top half has more dye than the bottom half, so it kind of looks a little bit like it's fading into whiteness. You'll see. But now I'm just like tying those scrunches up with elastic and rubber bands so that it all stays together once the dye starts coming along and being poured on. So I'm just grouping it because I didn't have an elastic that was big enough, and I've chosen blue and purple, so I'm just kind of squeezing it in the places that I think I want it to go. As I said, I wanted the top half to have more dye than the bottom half, so I'm kind of just playing around with that. As you'll see, I'll tend to stick to the top half rather than the bottom half. Now that I think I've put enough dye on where I want it, I'm putting it in a bag to set aside for a day or two so that the dye can really set into the material and fully be there and part of it. And so I'm tying it in a bag and setting it aside, and now I'm starting on the next piece, which is a random t-shirt that I had lying around, and I'm kind of swirling it but still scrunching it like I did the other one, and kind of seeing if that will bring new patterns that the other one didn't because I just scrunched. And then I am tying it together ish, not really, and putting ice, because this is the ice technique. This is the first time I'm doing it, so if it fails, don't blame me. I'm trialing this for the first time. I literally just smashed a whole bunch of ice from an ice bag and put it in a bowl, and now I'm putting it randomly all over the place. There are big chunks, small chunks, and now I've got the powder of the little tubes without any water on it, pouring it onto the ice so that as the ice melts, it melts onto the t-shirt. That's the idea. I've got green, yellow, orange and red, all of the other colors that were in the dye packet other than blue and purple. I thought it would look good together. I had high hopes. We'll see how it turns out. After I put on a lot of dye, I realized I made a critical mistake and should have been putting it over a drying rack so that the water would dry through the material and not puddle. So here is just a random metal drawer that I found that I'm going to let it sit on so that it will dry through and not in a puddle.
3 hours later.
So this is hours later, and I'm checking back and putting it in a bag after all the ice is melted so that it can sit in its pattern, as it were.
3 days later.
So we're jumping back to the first item, the jumper. It's 3 days later and I'm undoing it to see what it turned out like and if I need to make any adjustments. So this is me untying all the rubber bands out of the bag, making sure I've got gloves on because dye will get on your hands. I learned that the hard way for sure. And I'm just taking out the rest of the rubber bands and laying it out, and I've realized that I would love way more dye on it. So I'm scrunching it back up and I am tying it again so that I can put more dye on the bits that I would like more dye. So that's what I'm doing here, scrunching it up and putting more dye on. I finished that, I'm putting it back in a plastic bag to sit for another day or two so that that part of the dye can sit and be set, but I'm not putting all of it in just in case the ink kind of transferred to the places that I don't want, so I've left some out of the bag. Opening up the second bag, I'm seeing how it turned out with the 4 different colors. So this is me struggling to get the bag open to see what it all looks like. And it was a lot greener than I anticipated. That's obviously just how the ice kind of melted. And now I'm rinsing this through, getting all the extra dye out, waiting for it to run clear, or as clear as it will. It probably won't. This definitely did not run clear. I just got tired of rinsing. So I just rinsed as much as I could. I didn't want to waste water. So getting all of the excess stuff out. And now I'm putting like laundry detergent in it and actually washing the item to see if that will help solidify the pattern. Once I had finished washing and rinsing it out, I squeezed it out as much as I could to get the excess water, ready to put on the line so that it would dry. I put it up the right way, and that's what it turned out.
The following day,
I was eager to find out how this jumper had turned out with the additional dye that I had added the day before. So this is me checking it out, undoing the rubber bands and seeing if I liked it or not, and laying it out so you can see. And I definitely liked it a lot better. So this is me rinsing out the excess dye like I did in the first garment, or the second garment, the other garment. And so there was so much dye, and it was a jumper, so obviously it can hold a lot more liquid, so it was just very heavy and awkward to hold and rinse and make sure dye wasn't going on the white bits that I wanted to stay white. It was very fiddly and annoying, and I probably wasted a lot of water, which I wasn't happy about, but I tried my best, and I just kept rinsing and then started to wash it with detergent as well. So I did the same process as I did with the other garment, just it took longer because it was a whole bigger thing. Once again, once I was finished rinsing and washing, I wrung it out, ready to put on the line. This time I did put it upside down because I wanted all of the dye to go to the bits where the dye was and not where the white bits were. So that's how it turned out. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you did, give us a thumbs up. Lets me know that I'm doing okay and that people are watching my videos, which isn't necessarily why I do it. I do it for fun, but like it's good to know that people like what I like to do, you know? As you can see, one of my garments turned out a lot better than the other one, and I'm probably most likely going to wear one over the other, but that's okay. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and don't forget to hug someone today.